NBC 27 Digital Now Center. This is Beyond the Forecast with your most accurate local meteorologists.
And hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Dan Tomaso, checking in on a sunny afternoon, but also a day where temperatures are beginning to go up. And that's kind of the theme of this particular episode of Beyond the Forecast, just talking about how much more temperatures will go up and then a look ahead to Easter weekend. But as many of you may have some time off coming up, whether it's tomorrow heading into the weekend or possibly Monday after the weekend, great time to be outside. We really don't see much moisture heading our way, which is a good and bad thing, obviously, for outdoor plans. Limited rain is certainly a good thing, but just in general, over the next few days, we're not going to see much change in the drought territory. Today is one of those days where the dryness is actually something you could feel. It started out very cold this morning. Now with the sunshine and what we call mixing in the atmosphere, there's a lot of dry air available. Now, we're not worried about any type of fire weather concerns due to the recent rains, but it is still very, very dry. But that leads to pleasant weather for golfing there at the Harrisburg Country Club or here in Lancaster, looking at all the greenery there. Everything's greening up with this time of the year, the sunshine and the rain helping with that. Also heading into York County, lots of trees there blossoming, and it looks more and more like spring. Now, temperatures have been lagging the last 2 weeks for the most part. Now we're seeing a reversal of that pattern. Temperatures, we mentioned this during the noon, would increase the fastest over the Cumberland Valley. That's what we're seeing currently. Temperatures there in the 60s. To the east, it always takes a little bit longer. The mountains takes a little bit longer too. So temperatures there in the upper 50s. In general today, I expect the warmest locations to be in the mid 60s, especially because of how dry the air is. On days like today, when the air is this dry, temperatures increase in a hurry, especially with this amount of sunshine. So the forecast, pretty straightforward for today. In fact, very little cloud cover through tonight and early tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow we may see some high clouds, especially initially. That's because of the mild air coming in from the southwest. So more of a southwest breeze tomorrow. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s. Heading into then Saturday's forecast, even warmer. But Saturday may feature the most amount of cloud cover. So even though we're seeing the clouds, there's a lot of mild air streaming in. So temperatures have the chance of hitting the low to mid 80s. Now there will be a chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm late Saturday evening after dark or even close to sunset. That would be what we're following in terms of rain chances for the weekend, but anything from Saturday morning through Saturday midday should be dry for outdoor plans. All the egg hunts and everything Easter going on. And in terms of rain totals, even when the rain does get here into Saturday, it is pretty negligible once again. Maybe a quarter of an inch in spots, but it is not going to be a huge rainmaker locally, which again, we could use more of. We're still running over a 3-inch deficit. The extended forecast showing there is that front and the rain chances for Saturday into Sunday early morning. But again, most areas don't get a lot of rain from that. The next weather system is well off to the west, so that leads to the dry Sunday forecast and likely dry through Monday during the day. It takes until Monday night to see that chance of showers and or thunderstorms. So I think even Monday is pretty mild and quiet. Tuesday, maybe a touch cooler, but what I want to focus on is the extended forecast, and basically what we're seeing is a large warm weather pattern developing. So we have all this flow coming up from the southwest, and that's kind of what these lines are all about. So when we look at these types of maps in forecasting, we assume that the air is moving like this, parallel to what we call the isobars or isoheights in this case. Basically what we're talking about is different levels in the atmosphere and what they're doing. In this case, we're looking about midway up in the atmosphere, showing the flow pattern, and it's mostly out of the west and southwest. And so when that happens and you get continual days like this, the warmth continues to build. So notice there might be even a little bump up, if you will, in terms of the warmth, and that's kind of located here over the central part of the United States in through the mid-Atlantic. So that's why we think overall the potential is there for a very warm weekend. Now, looking beyond that forecast, that's when next week still looks mild. We may see a quick brush by of cooler air early next week, but everything seems to show that mild air returning once again from the middle part of next week into the end of next week. So that could even impact the last weekend of April in terms of warmth. So all things are pointing up. It's been relatively cool lately, but average high temperatures in the mid 60s. Looking ahead, we have 70s for Friday, 82 for Saturday. It may not be 80s all in the extended forecast, but there's a potential of hitting that again by the middle of next week. Even the nighttime temperatures getting a little bit more mild. Now, that's not to say we can't get a random frosty morning mixed in somewhere during this warm-up. That can still happen, especially when the air is dry. So for those concerned about starting the garden, maybe planting outside, Yes, the warmer days are going to help with that. We could use a little more rain, but also the warmer and more mild mornings. So we hope everyone has a great holiday weekend coming up. In general, again, it should be very mild, very user-friendly over the next several days, the next 7 to 10 days even. We'll check in again after the weekend to talk about what happens as we move into May. That's right, we're almost turning the calendar into May as we look ahead in the extended forecast. Have a good one. Take care. Thanks for watching.